This is the plaintiff, Desiree Castillo. She says the defendant vandalized her car when her son was parked at the bowling alley, and she refuses to pay for the damages caused. The defendant used magic markers to draw vulgar images of private parts and disgusting words, which are now permanently scratched into her car. So she's suing for $2,480, the cost of a new paint job. These are the defendants, Megan and Tammy Auger. Tammy says the plaintiff called her and threatened to have all the kids arrested because they used sponge-tipped glass markers which are totally washable. The plaintiff is claiming her daughter scratched the paint job of the already beaten-up car. Her daughter didn't cause any of these so-called damages, and she's not going to be scammed by anyone. They're accused of vandalism.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that her car was vandalized at the hands of the defendant with some vulgar images of body parts, and that just ain't right. But the defendant says the magic markers are washable, and all this woman needs is a good car wash. It's the case of magic body parts.
All right, Ms. Castillo, you are suing Megan Auger and her mother, Tammy Auger, for $2,480 that you say they owe you for damage that Megan did to your car. Tell me what happened.
My son was at the bowling alley bowling, and when he came out, there was paint markers all over his car, his windows, and the passenger
So you have a
windows.
son named Anthony, correct?
Yes.
And he goes to school with Megan and Megan's older sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Megan and Allison.
All right, and then what happens? One fine day, Allison gets a great idea, and what is her idea?
Her idea is to go prank some friends and write on their vehicles.
All right.
And my son was at the bowling alley. They, I guess, saw his car in some way, and they did it in the parking lot. There is
Well, your
video
son posted a
surveillance, but I
picture
haven't
of
gotten
that he was in the bowling alley, like he posted on Instagram or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was Snapchat.
All right, so they now figure that he's there, and they do it just to his car, which is your car.
Just to his car.
Just to his car. Okay, so now he comes out, and what is it that they wrote on his car?
It says, "I love,"
Okay.
on the side of his car. And
All
there
right.
are pictures of penises down the side on the passenger door and one on the hood.
All right, so I thought these kids had markers and were writing on the windows.
They did write on the windows, but according to the other kids, Megan is the one who wrote on the physical paint of the vehicle.
Didn't anybody try to stop her?
Not as
Were
far
they
as I
trying to
know.
be malicious, or are they friends with your son?
They are all friends. They have written on each other's windows before.
Right.
It's something that kids do. The markers are made for that. I get it. If the scratches were on the window, we wouldn't even be here right now.
Well, there wouldn't be scratches on the window.
Exactly.
What happened? Megan, let me talk to you first. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay, what happened that day?
I wrote like penises on the car.
On the body of the car?
Yes,
Was anybody else writing on the body of the car?
not that I'm aware of.
So why were you writing? If everybody else was writing on the glass, why weren't you writing on the glass?
I didn't really know it was made specifically for Windows.
Specifically for Windows. Okay. All right. So go on. So you just didn't know, and the others weren't watching you. They didn't see and say, wait, don't do that.
No.
What did you draw? You drew
guess-
penises?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you draw them?
I would say on the hood and one of the back doors.
Okay. And did you even know Anthony?
No.
Okay. So you're along for the ride, and look how things worked out.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ms. Auger, let me hear from you. When did you find out that something had happened?
I received a call sometime in February, and we had a discussion, and it was it was pretty cordial. And she said that Allison had done that. At that time, I didn't know Megan had done it. Was with her. Her sister never takes her anywhere. But
Oh, well, she broke ground with a doozy this time, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
How old is
Right.
Allison?
Allison's 18.
Okay. She can
And,
pick our next president.
She called me and told me what happened, and I just got out of the hospital with heart surgery. And I said, you know what, Allie's 18. If she did do something, she should be responsible for it. So I said she did say that she was going to press charges and get all the kids in felony, and they're going to get kicked out of the academy. And I said, well, I don't think that's right. And she goes, well, I need a paint job out of this. So as it went on, then I found out, I questioned the girls, and Allison said that she did bring Megan, and while they were riding on the back of the car, Megan must have got one of the markers from Allison's car, and they never seen Megan riding it, so that's why they didn't stop her.
Did the kids get arrested?
No, because it wasn't, no one, the officer couldn't see any scratches. He said,
I can see the scratches. I got pictures of it. What do you mean the officer couldn't see scratches?
Right. Well, we went to the car wash where Anthony works.
Okay.
Before that, I was taking her to get her permit, and she said, well, let's try waxing it, and because Anthony works at the car wash. And I said, okay.
Okay, yeah. So she was trying to get it done on the cheap. She wasn't trying to get a paint job out of it. Anthony works at a car wash. She said, well, for $138, maybe it'll buff right out. Right? Like people say, my husband, my husband in particular, who thinks everything is fine and everything's going to buff out. All right. And so they tried that, and then that didn't work. Right?
Right. First it was going to be 60, and then she called back and said it's going to be 130 because it was supposed to be a special orbital wax or something.
Right. And so that didn't work. And it's only then that she said, you know, it's a paint job. So what your feeling is it shouldn't be because what?
Well, because I've tried, and I have video of, this is the sponge. It's a sponge, and it's a sponge. It doesn't scratch.
Well, it's a sponge, right? It's a sponge, and it'll write on glass right away. But it's a sponge encased in plastic, where if you're not seeing what you want to see, you push harder, right? And then your plastic is touching the car, and that's what scratches it. So.
But
Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say? You've tried to replicate it?
No, I did. I went on Allison's car, and I went as hard as I could. I took a video as hard as I could each way.
Why didn't you give Miss Castillo a chance to go to Allison's car and do that? I think that we might have not even had to do the case if we. Anthony did. Tell me about that.
They were at the school, and Anthony went not with a sponge, but he went with a knife, and he goes an eye for an eye. It's all, just call it even.
And
but
did what?
He didn't actually do it. But
oh, he didn't do it.
To Allison's car.
Did he do it or he didn't do it?
No, he didn't actually do it.
Are they still friends?
Well, it's fun, strange because they're good. Anthony, before his mom got involved, he said those scratches were there. He goes,
I'm sorry.
Good.
Stop. Who said those scratches were there?
Anthony.
Do you have any proof of what you just said?
My daughter isn't here.
Would that be a no to my question? You don't have proof of what you just said. All right. Did Anthony ever tell you, Mom, come on, those scratches were already there, Ms. Castillo?
No, there are scratches on the paint. And if I can just kind of clarify what it was she said. This happened on February 28th. I did not call the cops to file a report till March 1st. The car was orbitally waxed on March 3rd, and I waited until March 23rd to press charges. I did have multiple conversations with Allison and Megan's mom, Tammy, as well as the boy's mom, and Miss Auger didn't even pay for the orbital wax. One of the boys' moms did. Happens to be one of the boys that didn't even write on the vehicle.
Okay.
I paid her for it. I reimbursed her for it.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
All right. Is Anthony available?
He is. He's right next to me.
I'd like to talk to him, please.
Absolutely.
Raise your right hand, please.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Anthony. I know it's a 2014 Honda, so it's been around the block, but I'd like to know, are the scratches that I see on the car, were they there before, or were they caused by this event?
No, ma'am, they were caused by the event.
Okay, and is this a car that you drive?
Yes, ma'am, I drive to work and school and stuff like that.
Okay. What part of the car is this, Anthony?
Oh, that's, I have a two-door coupe, so that's like behind the back door.
And what was written here?
That was the I love was right there.
Is that the V of love?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this after or before the wax?
This is before.
What part of the car am I looking at here? Oh, I see. That's the door handle.
That's
I
the
got it.
passenger side door. Just right above that, there was a penis right there also.
This is after the wax.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And this is the V of love.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
After the wax.
And this is after the wax, and it's still there. All right. Ms. Auger, young Ms. Auger, Megan, honey, I know you're 15, but if you're pressing hard on someone, you know, like it's not going to be funny. It's going to leave scratches if you're pressing like that. And I can see even after the wax that there's scratches in the word love. Yeah, I can see what I think is a penis, but it could be a circle. It could be argued that it's something else, but the word love is unmistakably still there even after the wax job. So have you learned anything? And do you understand that a prank could be fun, but doing damage to someone's property, maybe not such a great idea? Ms. Auger, I realize it's a 2014 Honda. You could put your mom back on, Mr. Castillo. Ms. Tammy Auger, I realize that it's a 2014 Honda, but do you realize how much paint jobs cost?
But another thing too, I have another picture here. The back of the car has no paint on it. It is bare to the metal.
Yeah, here's the thing.
So the
you can't do damage to a car and then say, well, it was a crappy car anyway, so just eat the damage I did. That's not how it works. You know, you take your plaintiff as you find him. So yeah, that's, you know, you can't do damage to the car and then say, but it was so crappy anyway. That's not a defense. So I'm going to assume that it has 9 years of wear and tear all over it. But the problem is that in really big letters, I can still see the O and the V of the word love. So you're not going to be able to get out of this. And when I say you, be there no mistake, Ms. Auger, I am referring to you, not your mom. Because you're 15 years old, you're in the state of Florida, and your mom would only be responsible if she put a dangerous instrumentality into your hands, which she didn't. I take it she did not give you the markers, did not know what you were up to. So there's no parental responsibility in this case. The verdict in this case is going to be against you, Ms. Auger. So I suggest you get some summer jobs so that you can pay this off. The verdict is good for 10 years in the state of Florida, and it can be renewed for another 10 after that. That is my verdict, $2,480. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails, and the judge finds against 15-year-old Megan for $2,480. Megan, let me talk to you and ask you how you feel about this. You've been found guilty in court at the age of 15. What are you thinking?
I don't even have any words.
You have no words? Are you embarrassed? Do you feel bad? You know, seriously, you must feel somewhat. How do you feel?
I do feel bad for what I caused.
You know, I know you said you did this, but I never heard you explain why you wrote what you wrote on the car. Why did you do that?
I thought it would be funny, but I didn't know it would leave any scratches or anything like that.
Not so funny. Let me ask you one other question now. You've got a judgment against you that the judge told you it's good for 10 years and can be renewed for almost $2,500. How are you going to pay it back?
Need to find a job, I guess.
Yeah. Ms. Auger, let me ask you, the judgment is against her. Are you going to help her out and pay this judgment to the plaintiff or what?
No, I'm not. She can work with her father and work it off.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay, Ms. Castillo, you have prevailed. I don't know, how soon you're going to get your money from the defendant here. What are you thinking?
I'm just happy that I'm able to get the money to fix the car. That's all I was really trying to do. I didn't want to get anybody in trouble, and I thought I made that pretty clear.
You think you've taught the defendant a lesson by doing this?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right, well, listen, I hope you get your car repaired and you can get the scratches out with a new paint job. Good luck to you, all right?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Harvey?
Okay, Doug, so a lot of people wonder, why the heck would you sue a 15-year-old who probably has little or no money? Well, there is a reason that sometimes, especially if the parent isn't liable, you can sue a 15-year-old, and that judgment is good for 10 years and can even be renewed for another 10 years in most states. So a pauper today, maybe a prince tomorrow. So the idea is, if you are persistent and you're willing to wait and you can wait, ultimately suing a minor can pay off.
What was it like teaching your daughters to drive?
Well, all of our daughters learned how to drive for the first time in a 2000 Honda Odyssey van up on the mountaintop in North Carolina.
Right. On a dirt road.
On a dirt road that was ours, so that
Right.
nothing bad could happen that wasn't ours.
Plus, that 2000 Odyssey has it's close to 100,000 miles on it. It's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's well broken in.
It's broken in. It's broken
in nicely.
Yes.
Like an old slipper.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, I don't have a whole. I'm not. This is going to come as a rousing shock to you, but I don't have a whole lot of patience. So I'm pretty sure you probably handled that a lot.
I might have done the lion's share.
Right.
Of that,
I would drive to school with them. I would sit in the passenger seat, and then they would drive to school because I wanted them to get a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So that we did that whole year when they had their restricted. But
that's right.
I would have my heart in my throat the whole time.
Well, it's funny, you know. I want to say that the lessons really took well and everything went great. But yesterday, while we were here taping, I received this text message from one of the kids.
Was there any
minivan? It got roughed up a little bit.
Our brand new Pacifica minivan that got a little roughed up
and,
when she hit a pole.
She texted me, and I think she wanted me to text back, "Oh, don't worry, that'll buff right out."
Right, exactly.
That's not
buffing out. It's funny she didn't text me that picture. She just texted you that picture.
She was hoping that
you would soften the blow and
fade the heat.
I would
fade the heat
right.
when you found out.
Right.
So, anyway, let's go into the body shop this week.
Yep.